Hi all, let's have a look at another absolutely fascinating game from the US Chess Championship of 2017. Gata Kamsky playing white against Varuzhan Akobian. He played actually e4. Kamsky is known for playing the London system. In fact, one of the most frequent exponents at a very high level of the London system, which is basically d4, knight f3, often c3 and bishop f4, e3, that sort of setup. But here he's venturing e4. We have a French defense. Varuzhan Akobian is known as a French defense guru. We go into the Tarrasch variation, and now c5. So this is the second most popular, just about, to knight f6. They're nearly equally in line, but over 10,000 games, just over 10,000 games. But the edge is with knight f6 for popularity, it seems. So c5. Now white plays knight gf3. I believe this is a move favoured by Kasparov instead of what most of the time people play e takes d5. So knight gf3, we have c takes d4, now e takes d5, queen takes d5, bishop c4. White is going to regain the pawn on d4. This is well known to regain the pawn eventually with knight b3. So this pawn is too dangerous for black. Try and hold on to that pawn with the king in the centre. It's not possible. We have a6 now, and white usually just takes here, but in this game we see a4 preventing b5 first. This is also a logical move here. Bishop e7, knight takes, knight takes, knight takes, black castles, and black's kind of equal at this point. With a solid position, the pawn structure is solid, there's no structural defects. It's a nice position to have with the black pieces. This is the piece which might need to improve soon. We see white playing b3, rook d8, bishop b2. Now here queen c5, and it seems as though there might be a threat here of e5 in this position. This next move seems to encourage it. Actually, queen d3, this is not the main point of the move, but it's interesting to check out e5 here, why it might not be great. Black played h6, which is much more stable than trying e5, because basically bishop a3, and if here, then taking on e7, this just favours white considerably. This bishop a3, let's just check this as well with queen c7. This is actually okay for black, actually. Technically this is okay, but maybe black was concerned about playing this. It's actually, this move e5 is technically okay to play here. It seems, even with bishop a3 as a resource, it's technically okay. But we see h6, and now h3 is played. There's interesting ideas with this bishop, actually, like queen c3, which are available. Trying to put pressure down the diagonal, but we see this move h3. So both sides mirroring each other's, making some air for the king, among other things. Queen c7. Okay, now we have queen e2, and a curious forcing move from Varuzhan, bishop b4. It would be nice to encourage c3, pawns don't go backwards, because then just bishop d6 and black's comfortable, and we'll follow up with b6 and bishop b7 and have a very nice harmonious position. We have the move rook ed1. Now instead of b6, yeah, you might think b6 and bishop b7. Possibly it suffers from something tactically. Let's just investigate, actually. b6 here. Yeah, it does suffer technically. It seems knight takes e6 is possible. Example, f takes, bishop takes. This position, queen e4 hits the rook, and also g6. So if we move the rook, check, And yeah, this is bad news because the queen's clinging on to the rook. So that is it seems it's a much safer approach. Yeah, it seems knight takes e6. This isn't working out very well for black. Here it takes, and again we have a problem here with queen g4 this time. Yeah, loose piece there. And white's better. So it's interesting, yeah, you might have wondered, and now that's answered that question, why maybe b6 is a bit fragile compared to bishop d7. So bishop d7, we have the move rook d3, and here actually black is encouraged to play the move e5. It seems as though, hold on a sec, has white got this right, e5? It seems pretty forcing. Knight f3, e4, what's going on here? Is white just losing material? White plays bishop takes f6, and this is a really tense position after e takes d3. There's actually a move here which gives white at least equality, but it's really hair-raisingly technical. It wasn't played. The move is queen e4. I'll give you some examples. G takes, check, 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 check. This is just great for white, like winning. So that's why queen e4 is dangerous. Okay, if queen d6 takes, knight e5, with f7 pressure, it doesn't matter about queen d1. This is really hair-raising, but this is winning for white that line. But if a more sensible approach here, instead of doing that, bishop e6, this line is going to be a draw actually. After king h7 is the better move. There's going to be a draw. Yeah, it's hair-raising lines after queen e4. I mean, hair-raising. If bishop c6, queen g4 threatening mate, taking, and white's slightly better there. So queen e4 was the move to keep in the game, it seems here actually. But in the game we see bishop takes d8, and the game ended abruptly. Can you see the move that black played in this position? And the game ended with this move. So black's play, there's a crushing blow played in this position. If I give you 5 seconds, black's play, what does he play here? Okay, queen takes c4. Now, it's a great desperado. It's not like winning a piece even, but it gets a decisive pawn basically. So, you know, white resigned. Let's follow through. If takes, we get this basically a decisive pawn here. So, you know, the bishop can save it. So, say this line, rook e8, threatening e1, blocking, bishop c3. This is an example where white is helpless in this endgame scenario. Actually, with that pawn there, totally helpless. Black's going to just snap up that and then harass the rook. Can that forces the knight back, for example, then can actually like win the rook. Yeah, it's basically a hopeless position after queen takes c4. Fascinating, but yeah, what he might have been expecting, Kamsky might have been expecting just rook takes, and after bishop takes d3, it's about equal. With that desperado, it's lost for white after this desperado move. Queen takes c4. Yeah, but early, as I mentioned, that technical episode of Queen e4 was very, very interesting. So some interesting stuff behind the scenes and a very abrupt ending. Only 22 moves. It ended abruptly, this game. Hope you got something from it. It's interesting stuff. It shows how dangerous chess is in terms of resources for both sides, and the tells of the unexpected resources like queen takes c4, the desperado, killer desperado tactic, finishing there abruptly. Okay, comments, questions, likes, shares appreciated. Thanks very much.